Hey guys, welcome to a little bit of a late Untier talk because, gosh darn it, if everyone isn't quarantined and dealing with the thing that you know the thing, that's a Joe Biden quote right there. You know the thing. With me today we got Jad, and we've also got special guest TJ.
Yo,
Yep, as usual.
Nice, nice. Okay. And we were thinking we were going to talk more about Alpha because that's kind of the deal, the thing, the thing. Uh, the No John's tour finished up. Probably not going to go through replays of that or anything. Alpha's more interesting as a concept than like the games. Um, Although you two were placed fourth and second, so that's cool. But we're mostly going to focus on what we think is real broken right now. What we think are prime suspects for come beta, if not a ton changes, or like even if a ton changes, these are the things that we might really be looking at to ban and stuff, and like the big major, this thing's wild. Hajad
Yeah.
was the most into this topic, so do you want to start us off with like the thing that's super crazy for you?
Yeah. I mean, there's loads of things. Well, as I'm sure we all understand by now, I'm quite liberal, I guess, with all the things that I want to be banned, and I guess I'm more willing to ban the standard person. So I devised a comprehensive list of all the things that are potentially broken or close to being broken or are actually broken. Um, so should I just go through that list one by one?
Yeah, we can use that as a jumping off point.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing on the list is ninjas. This isn't in any particular order, but the first thing, I guess, on the VR that I was looking through is ninjask. And to be honest, there's really no point in running speed control when you just have ninjask and you can just click U-turn consistently over and over and over again. The thing that I found surprising about it is I thought the hazard control in this tier was going to be way worse than it actually is at the moment. Um, So I thought acrobatics would just be sort of like a meme set that somebody would pull out on like a triple defog team or something crazy, right? Um, but it turns out acro, because of Hatrem and the Sylvalis providing really good hazards control. Um, Acro is a sensational late game thing, right?
Really,
You can,
I don't
yeah,
disagree that Ninjas is crazy, but I think a lot of people will disagree on exactly how good our hazard control is. Um, yeah, like TJ, what do you think about hazard control? I have a lot to say
uh,
about that, so I don't want to.
I don't know. I feel like some of the Savalis are really good, like Savali Ground and Savali Water for like hazard control. We also have like Carcoal, which is like decent. I mean, because it also has like other utility and other roll compression. Um, I've also seen like Vibrava, which isn't the best, but isn't the worst thing. Um, but yeah, the Hatchroom thing is also pretty interesting. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't. I wouldn't say that the hazard control like is the best in the tier right now, but I think it's pretty decent. And if you pair like Ninjas with something like Hatchroom, I think you're gonna get a lot out of it.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah,
It
I
also
don't know.
depends on the set.
I feel like running defog on Silvally is just like a little bit of a waste because it's so good at other things, and like Hatcham and stuff is good. Like I think the control is good enough to facilitate Ninjask, and we're not really even like disagreeing on Ninjask. I just think saying the hazard control is like surprisingly good. Eh, eh,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Ninjask is that like you can almost tell immediately from like a team preview what the Ninjask is going to be. Like if you see a Hatchram and a Silvally, you're pretty certain there's going to be Acro Ninjask. But if you only see like a Silvally on its own
Mm-hmm.
or like a Coco on its own, you can be pretty sure that it's going to be the um, like a heavy duty boot set without Acro. So um, yeah, I mean that's the one thing I found surprising. Like I thought as well that the hazard control. I think it's just better than what we expected. To be honest, I don't think it's like really good or anything. It's just better than expected, which somewhat facilitates accurate ingest, which is
Mm.
yeah. I found that to be really quite good,
Mm-hmm.
especially considering all of the like U-turn resists, like U-turn in quotation marks, and like flying resist. They're all like Mawile, Stonejourner. They're like
Like Carpool, I guess.
yeah, they don't have recovery, so you
Yes.
just U-turn on them, and then you get the momentum at the end of the turn, force them out consistently, and then eventually they get overwhelmed with pressure.
Yeah, Ninjask is definitely amazing. There's a lot of examples of it just you turning around constantly doing really well, and also Swords Dance sweeping at the end of games is also perfectly viable. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Especially since like I've definitely railed even on Untier Talk in the past about like how annoying Persian, Pikachu, Trapinch, all that like really strong priority is. Um, but it is still very frequent to just not run into that and not have that be a major issue. So
Yeah,
it does not completely shut down Ninjask by any means.
right. Because you can also just run Protect to like circumvent, especially like Persian, like Pikachu using Fake Out. So that's another thing. Also, Ninjas can run Dig, I guess, if you want to hit like Carpool, I guess, and like Mawile,
It
which is also
can.
like I wouldn't recommend running Dig. I think like U-turn, Leech or like Leech Life / Acrobatics SD. I think those are like the more like superior sets. But I guess if you wanted to just hit that Carkle for whatever reason, you can also run Dig. So there's that.
Yeah, I don't know that I don't know that's really worth when you've got
Yeah,
uh Protect especially, and then I mean even before Protect, you want to fit U turn, Acro, Leech Life, Sword Stance. That's already four moves. Um,
yeah. I mean, you can also just run Trap Pinch to like, trap all those things right now. So
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think also that's one thing that Acro has over the heavy duty boot set is that it can run. It doesn't really have that move slot problem. You can just run Acro U-turn, protect sword stance, and you're pretty much there.
yeah. Leech Life is not super necessary, and it's obviously really nice to have a very strong Acro. Um, Heavy duty boots is not terrible. Like you know, occasionally seeing the kind of like heavy duty boots, sometimes even the defog, whatever, and that's fine. I guess the counterpoint to Ninjax is that like it's really good, but I don't think it would take a lot for us to have enough counterplay to it. Like there's already it's already like really good and really annoying for offense, but I don't think it would take us getting a lot of like bulky enough mons or like things that check Ninjask for us to go, no, this is fine to have. Even if it's still like a top tier threat, like we could reasonably only get a couple mons that would just completely balance it out. I think, at least personally.
I think at least personally the same. I think honestly on this entire list, Ninjask is probably towards the middle back end, just because we actually like there is a lot of things to do in the tier to somewhat get around it. I agree that the U-turning into the breaker thing is kind of annoying, especially on offense or like even for balance. Like you get a good U-turn onto like a I don't know a Specs auxiliary, right? It can be really bad, but I think we should really focus on banning the breaker that comes in after the U-turn rather than the U-turner itself.
For sure.
All right,
yeah.
next one on the list.
I guess, yeah.
Uh, we have Don Porniad. Porniad.
Oh my god.
Um,
I think Ponyard's like probably one of the most, maybe like top 5 broken mons right now.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
I think
definitely I actually really disagree with you guys on this one. I've stated it before, so I'll let you guys go and then I'll be like give my opposing take, I guess.
yeah, I think I'll go first. I think the thing with Porniad is that it's quite hard to revenge kill, and it's really consistent at getting the setup going because of its typing. So um, yeah, like if you think in terms of the fighting types we have in the tier, none of them carry Mark Punch, and none of them outspeed Poignard. So you're getting a +2 Iron Head off at the minimum on a throw or grab locked or whatever you want use. And then on top of that, we don't have any of the like firefighting things that we had in the past, like Monferno or Polyrath. Those are like balancing factors in previous PU metas. So just in general, it's hard to check defensively, and then because of the +2 sucker punch, it's hard to check offensively. So it's sort of in this point where you're just like, sometimes I lose straight up to poignant, sometimes I don't. Yeah.
It also takes advantage of like like all those like Mawwall teams because
Oh yeah.
like it's just defiant, and then it's also like I guess a good punisher for like defog, depending on the defogger of course. Um, so yeah, there's that, and then I would say like lack of like girder, Poliwrath, and like Monferno from like previous gens is like another like really big like just big thing for Ponyard. Like it doesn't have to worry about that, and it just like you know has an easier time now.
Yeah. Would you want to say that, Naylor? How do you want to counter this point?
Okay, so Poniard is definitely a very good Mon. I don't disagree, but in terms of like, oh man, we should be looking at banning this pretty soon or anything like that. Um, it's not. It's not especially bulky, and it very much feels like the kind of thing that right now this is like this new weird alpha meta that nothing is significantly stable, and we're not really running anything specific for anything. In fact, it feels a lot like how I feel about Swoobat, where it can be completely devastating, but it doesn't feel like we lack adequate counterplay. It feels like we're just not running adequate counterplay. Because when you're facing a Poniard, having the offensive pressure to just like not let it set up without taking a ton of damage is really big, and that's often something teams don't have right now. And then there's also just the things that check it slash annoy it, I guess. Like Sucker Punch is obviously a really abusable move that we don't do so much. Um, and then there's just a lot of random like maybe it's not going to be able to set up without taking like 50%, so you can always revenge it with a Basculin. CB Trap Inch or even Fracture obviously does a lot to it. Random fast sub things, um, whatever other like random fast things you want to go into. Most Silvali's can take a hit if need be. Like, yeah, that's kind of where I come down on Ponyard. That I think if we just put in some work to like adapt to it, it'd probably be an A+ Mon, but A+ in the kind of way like Primeape was last gen. We're like, yeah, this is like a really good, big, notable thing every team should be ready for, but I can't imagine us needing to ban it. Um,
Yeah.
it's not like there is less counterplay to this even than like Swoobat. It's just that Swoobat's like dumber when it steamrolls you, but it's there, and I feel like it's Ponyard being so good is a like right now is just a product of like the kind of meta Alpha creates where we're not fully formed in any way yet.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the teams you see in Alpha at the moment are just 6 offensive ones slapped together, and then inshallah attack every single turn. But and Ninjas in Pornian would especially abuse that because +2 sucker punch, you just feast on all the Scarfers and Specs and CB mons that exist. So I think yeah, you're right to some extent about the meta being uh, really Pornian. Um, but I do think we just don't have things that we can just switch into it and say, yeah, this is my Pornian check for the entire game unless I sack it. So I don't need to worry about Pornian. I don't think
Yeah,
that
we
exists. I
don't.
think
There isn't really one thing that will just always keep switching into Ponyard unless you're running like Fizz Def, Rest Talk, Throw or something. Even then, it
Or
could just Swords Dance and flinch you once and GG.
yeah, exactly. I think its typing is good enough where it can consistently get swords dances off. That's
The
not my
typing is
concerns.
amazing in this meta. Not to mention, it's good against a lot of the really broken things right now. It's not. It can be trap by trap if it's chipped, but even then, that makes it lock itself into first impression. It can check Swoobat, most Silvali's, Noctowl, all that, like just by virtue of having Sucker Punch, Ninjask 2, um, all that kind of stuff. Speaking of the Silvali's, that's the next thing, and I think we just should hit all of them at once because Silvally is
Yeah,
like
go for it.
bonkers in every way. Support sets are like amazing and super good and do what they did last gen, but like better and stronger. In a weaker tier, no question about that. But then you also have the offensive sets, which just they hit so strong because its stab is now 120 base power before stab, and it's got all the coverage, all the boosting moves. You can run whatever you want, and it'd be very good. It's
Do you
incredible.
want to hear my hot take, Meg, as well?
Fire is
Do you hear my hot
amazing.
take?
Ground is amazing. Normal banded normal is also just crazy. Like we don't have resist to CB normal Silvally except for Mawile, and then it randomly pulls out flamethrower, and then GG. Yeah, it's nuts.
And then it has Surf for Karkle and Stonejourner.
Yeah, also surf.
Yeah.
Um, just
Do you want
just
do you
wild.
want
It
to hear
gets
my hot
sword
take?
stance. It gets flame charge. It gets every special move. Yeah, let's see the
Yeah.
hot take.
Okay. So the hot take: every single Silvally form is broken. Agree or disagree? Even bug. Even bug.
I haven't used all of them yet, especially like the nicher ones like Savali Psychic, because there's really no reason to use those ones. So I won't say that those ones are broken, but I do agree that most of them are broken.
I think it's possible that bug and psychic end up being balanced, but like at best, probably just those two. Right now, they're all just crazy. Psychic just because like the typing is so bad, and there's still like a lot of faster things that have super effective moves, plus sucker punch, plus first impression. But yeah, other than that, there's 18 Silvalis, 15 of them are in this tier, and maybe like 3 or 4 of them aren't broken. But at the moment, I do think Silvally is by a solid chunk the most broken Mon in the meta. I'm specifying Mon
Makes you feel.
because Arena Trap is not a Pokemon and does not count. So yeah,
Yeah. I mean, there's literally no reason not to have a Silvally over whatever type of Pokemon that you wanted. So, like, say you wanted a water type, like, why wouldn't you run a Silvally water if that was an open slot? It would be, it's like the most offensive, best support, best offensive threat that you can have on any team. So, yeah, that's where my line of thinking came from. And yeah,
Yeah.
having used stuff like Silvally Bug, you just get past all of your type specific checks. Um, so like you would use usually a Mawile to beat out Silvally or like a bug type in general, right? But you know with Silvally Bug, you bypass it with Flamethrower, and then if they switch into Throw or whatever, you can just Zen Headbutt that, and then just like you can break so many different types of balance with typing. It's kind of crazy.
mm-hmm.
I mean, I do like some of the Savalis for like defog. Like I've been using a like defensive Savali ground, which is a Manectric counter, and it's just really good. Like it has U-turn, defog, toxic, and
Yeah, they're
it's really
fine. They're just not broken when they're doing that. That's all.
exactly that's the like only like argument I have for like keeping like some of them, but then at the same time, like if it's offensive Savali ground, now it's this like broken threat that's just like tearing up everyone. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think again the big balancing factor is just that I still think that this meta is a solid bit weaker than what we'll end up with because we'll end up getting like Mons from NU that initially looked stronger, that improve like the overall strength of the meta, but um, ended up just not sticking around because they couldn't actually keep up. Weaker and stronger are also stupid concepts. Like whatever. When I say weaker and stronger, I mean like OU is stronger than PU. It has like more powerful mons. You get what I mean? And I think if the overall power level gets raised, then Silvali's like constantly having access to this 180 base power move just won't stand out as much. But aside from that, yeah, this thing's crazy. Um, the next thing you have, Hijad, is Vulpix, which I'm still not hugely convinced on, but you can go off on that a little bit. Also, I don't think
Uh,
we asked TJ. Is there anything like not on this list that you would have added?
Um, I'm not seeing Lapras. I had a conversation with Tap about Lapras.
Okay.
Um,
When we hit
and we
Arctivish, we'll also hit
yeah.
Lapras because they're
All right.
pretty in the same boat.
All right.
um, yeah. So about Vulpix, I was seeing a lot of it on the ladder the first couple of days, and it did initially feel overwhelming, but since then, um, especially with the amount of ninjas and some value forms that are doing pretty good for Sun in general, and like Trapinch existing as well. But, like that type of like train has, I guess, flown off of it, and I don't think it's that good anymore. Um, it's probably the least broken thing on the entire list. Uh, but yeah, potentially maybe we look at Sun and Auto Weather just being like a stupid anti-offense gimmick that some way. But at the moment, I think we're okay with that.
Yeah, weather's always
Well,
been banned
maybe
in the
eventually.
past, but this is like the least weather abusers we've ever had. So there's that.
Yeah,
Weather is like Arena Trap in that it just kind of generally ends up being uncompetitive pretty much everywhere, except Ubers because they have like wacky weather abilities. But aside from that, like even from Little Cup to OU, weather's always kind of stupid. So maybe we have to handle that. Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. The next thing is Swoobat. We talked a lot about that last week. I don't think we have to hit it again. People kind of know, like, oh yeah, Bat's kind of crazy, especially with Pincurch and support. Uh, so maybe we just jump right into Throw, because like that Swoobat was like half the episode last week. Um,
yeah.
Or is it
Throw,
Noctowl before though?
we all started talking. So how about TJ goes?
Um, it looks like Noctowl's before Throw on this
You're
list.
right. I'm blind.
Yeah.
How about Noctowl then? We also talked a lot about Noctowl, but I think that could use a little more driving to people's heads because like everyone knows, oh, Subat's kind of crazy. I don't think people realize like, oh, Noctowl is kind of fucked.
Yeah, I've been using like this. Well, I've been using Specs Noctowl, and I've also been using this sort of more defensive Noctowl for like defog and just like nasty plot. And I find, especially the Specs set, just to have absolutely no switching. Um, I was using I don't know one team with Karkle and like Lapras, and when I would switch in, or when they when they would switch in, I mean on the ladder, and I saw defensive Lapras with heavy duty boots, they're taking so much just from that Hurricane. Granted, it hits, and even things that resisted, obviously with tinted lens, you're having Karkle. That thing's 2-hit KO'd. Stone Journey. I'm not even gonna mention Stone Journey. I've seen people try to weirdly pivot in shit like Mawile. Um, there's just no counterplay to Specs Noctowl. Um,
Yeah, I
except
mean,
for
Specs knocked out.
yeah, except for I don't know Clang, but even I'm pretty sure Hurricane or even Heat Wave beats Clang. So yeah, I'm not seeing much counterplay.
Yeah, this T Wave slash just teleporting out with Clefairy, for what it's worth, that's not great. Um, there's the few random Ice Shard users we have. There's not many of those, but like if you slap Ice Shard on a Lapras, that's something. Does Ice Q get
Yes, I
Ice Q
really
doesn't
want to
get Ice
use
Shard?
Ice Shard. No, I don't think so. But yes, I
No.
really do want to run an Ice Shard Delibird for Noctowl.
Yeah, but
AV Delibird, let's go.
yeah, Noctowl is not the hardest to revenge kill until you run to agility sets. But yeah, switch-ins, type null, and clang are like the closest you get to kind of doing it a bit. Because
Yeah,
turns
type
out
null's
giving this
better.
thing nasty plot kind of fucked.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Mhm.
It just doesn't have like
Yeah,
Hurricane does not have a switch in. We don't
TJ,
have like Bastiodon or like Probopass. So like we don't have any of those like natural steel rock type
Yeah,
things.
the four
You
times
just have
resists that we used to have in the tier because like nothing else wanted the typing. TJ, were you the
yep,
one in like semis of the Alpha Tour who just won with a sub roost nasty plot Noctowl that just 6 0'd or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was me. Yeah.
This Pokemon. Why?
Yeah. Although
I think
that
you were
guy
quite
did kind of like play kind of weird in the end game. Like I literally just stalled out his trick room. All he had to do was like switch in his throw, I think, and he would have won. But yeah, he kind of played weird.
That's true. Like, but it's still a crazy thing that just kills everything. Uh,
Yeah,
and again, the balancing factor would really have to be like we need more really good things because we don't lack for offensive revenge killers, but defensively, it's just yeah.
yeah,
yeah. Now throw.
Now throw. Okay. You don't really kill throw, and it can run pretty much everything to beat any switch in you might have. Because throw can like put EVs in every stat and run a billion different moves, and maybe it's running bulk up, or maybe it's running assault vest, or maybe it's running choice band. And there's no like real way to reliably stop it at all. You don't trap it. The best you can do is just like have a lot of mons with good type matchups or like that are faster and hit it pretty hard, um, and hope that keeps it in check. Marini's also good because they very rarely run like happen to be running the coverage moves that mess with Marini. They'll just like be able to knock it off, but like Thunder Punch or Earthquake aren't really massive things. Other than that, it pretty much slaps whatever it wants, whenever it wants, as hard as it wants with insane bulk. Somehow it's
Yeah,
not like crazy uber broken, but it's pretty broken and
yeah.
stupid.
yeah,
I'd say it's pretty broken, but there are some things like Masharna, Cobra Beheum, and even Gloom. I think Gloom's like pretty good actually. That do sort of counter it depending on the set. Like I'd even throw Shiinotic in there, but if it's running Poison down, then like obviously that's not a check anymore. It does have some counterplay, but like I think throw is like definitely something that's really broken right now. There's also Gorgai Super, which is like another like reliable check. So it has its counterplay, but depending on it's like pretty problematic.
yeah. I think the big
Oh
thing,
right,
the big
Gorgai
thing
Super,
for me
yeah.
that the big thing for me when I started playing the tier is when I was taking on throw, I was like, in the older metas and past PU metas, you usually had some type of really hard, heavy hitting breaker, right? Or like something really high damage output that could just check like instantly, like Stoutland, for example, you could just bring in after throw or bring in on a pivot or something to take on throw that really hit it hard. But in this meta, the only things that really exist are like Noctowl or like Silvally normal. Like we don't really have too many
Yeah,
base
I mean, there's also
damage
things
dealing
like
thing.
there's also things like Specs Glaceon and like I don't know if you guys tried Banded Stoner. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, Stoner's crazy,
Yeah,
and that also like will just do it KO throw with
yeah.
Heat
There's
Crash.
also Banded Fish as well.
Banded Vish, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
yeah,
like there are the strong, faster physical things that can do a solid chunk to throw, and that's really a lot of what keeps it in check. Um, just like needing to have those things, or also Masharna and BHM are good. You can't really call them full counters, but like they're better than most things because you run a Culver Berry and the knockoff's never doing too much. Then you run into trapping problems, but that's a whole other deal. So yeah, like there's things for throw, but really it's these very specific mons, and then otherwise it just like slaps literally everything with very few coverage moves.
uh,
yep.
Okay, you want to run us into? We've already done so much on trapping. People know. Oops, sorry. People know trapping's broken. We've talked about it. How about Arctivish and Lapras? Now that they're crazy similar, like they're pretty similar, but there's a very big difference between them being that fishy rend move.
Yeah. The thing with Octavish is, on top of being a really hard thing to switch in, basically impossible to switch in, it's got the ability to just run Choice Scarf, and as soon as you run Choice Scarf with the fishy move, oh my goodness, damage output is insane, and it decimates offense. Like very very little that you can do on offense to have like a decent play to it, and then it also has the stab like counterpart to it, like Icicle Crash. Like if you have like a Roselia, for example, that manages to not get to it killed by a Fishious Rain, just get absolutely crushed by the Icicle Crash, or even like
Well,
Palpito, for example, that's freeze dry. So
well, I mean, on offense, I mean, there are still things that naturally outspeed it, like Raichu, Ninja, Persian,
Mhm.
Swoobat.
Yeah, it's only
There's
55
also
speed.
like Manectric and stuff. Um, I this is a like this might be like a hot take, but I actually think Lapras is like more broken than Vish, and I can get into that later. But um, yeah, I mean, I've been trying to use like bulky waters like Marini and just like a bunch of different mons. Like I don't know if you guys used what's his called. Have you guys used Star yet?
Star? What?
Sorry, my connection's going off.
Oh, okay.
Have you guys used Stall? Have you guys used Stall yet?
Oh, no, I have not
oh
used a
yeah, yeah,
full stall, but I've seen some. It seems
Yeah, there's
annoying.
Pyukyu, um, which is like, oh
Yeah,
gosh,
between like trying to kill Pukumuku and type null, you've pretty much always got your work cut out for you.
yeah,
yeah. I think Lapras is really like a low key. If you wanted to tell me what the most low key broken thing is in the tier, I'd probably say Lapras.
yeah,
That's a pretty good shout because not many people will consider it in that broken tier, and it's also quite good defensively. Like especially
yeah,
defensive Lapras or even physically defensive. What you, that stuff? That's a really good Pokemon right there. Like especially compressed view rolls into one thing, and heavy duty boots as well. Um, Lapras is pretty good in that aspect,
Yeah.
but I think more low key broken offensive threats as well because it has the ability just to break through it.
yeah. There's not like there's literally like no good except for like I guess type Null and Clefairy. There's no like real water plus freeze drivers.
I think it's less that, more that like our random special walls. There's also not a lot of them because typically how you beat these mons is not having resists to them, it's just having really fat things. And now that's pretty much just become Clefairy type null. There is also technically like Bronzor, Spadef Clang, um, Spadef Noctowl that loses, but like overall, our big Spadef things, not a lot of them, and that's a lot of what makes it crazy. You also like if you actually watch, I've like watching all the PU Alpha replays. Really, you mostly see Lapras and Arctivish being the main switch-ins to Lapras and Arctivish, which
Yeah,
obviously that's a hard mirror. And then you got things like Body Press or like Stone Edge from Arctivish, and it becomes even weirder. They're very hard to beat. I actually think they're less broken than most of these things, though. It's or at least like less likely that we'll need to end up banning them. I feel like we can work in ways to beat them, especially again new drops, stuff like that. The meta's going to change, yada yada yada. Um,
right.
but yeah, they're purely like they kind of just do one thing. They sit there at like this decent but not crazy 55, 60 base speed, and then they just hit really hard. And unlike say like throw, we really need defensive mons to come into the meta to balance out throw. Or like Ninjask, we need like more things that just handle it. With these guys, we could get like more defensive mons, or just get a lot more offensive things that check it, or like just a lot more just generally not ice weak things. Either way, like as long as we just get more shit, I feel like they're pretty close to becoming okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm definitely like the big optimist here, though, going, we can get a lot of shit, and then most of this will be fine. But maybe not. Maybe we just ban 20 things. Who knows?
Since we're talking about ice types, I didn't see Glaceon or Ice Cube on the list. Do you guys want to talk about this?
I think Glaceon's definitely worth mentioning because it's pretty crazy, but I've seen like no Ice Cube.
Yeah, I haven't seen any Ice Cube, but in theory, I really think that Ice Cube could be problematic, especially like once people start using it more. If we decide to ban things like fish.
I think my thing with ice is that, well, in order for it to access that broken form, you need to be attacked on the physical side, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
In theory, if you're just a player, just don't attack on the physical side, like anyone ever become, right? Or am I just tripping?
Yes.
That's how it's played like when I played it.
Yeah, you're right. But I think also in its like base form, it could just like sub down to like Salic Berry with like the belly drum boost and also be kind of problematic.
Yeah, the problem is if you don't break it, even with a Salic Berry, it's slow as shit. Depending on the team that, like, my theory monon is basically depending on the team it faces, maybe it's very hard to not hit it on the physical side. Maybe you can even pivot it into something using a physical move on something else. But it takes a lot of factors and like the matchup to really go right. And also, it's a pure ice type. A lot of the physical attackers we have just like go to town on it, and ice only resisting ice, which is predominantly special in this tier. Aside from Arctivish, realistically, the only move Ice Cube is switching in on that it resists that will break its thing is Arctivish's Icicle Crash, which is not good in any way.
And I mean, like also like if you're not using like a special Scarfer, it makes like kind of like revenge killing, I guess like the base form a little harder because like you can't fake out it, you can't sucker punch it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. We need to see more from Ice Cube. Glaceon, on the other hand, I also just think is absolutely nuts. You just hit Specs Freeze Dry, and it's like, well, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Spec Glaceon is like a more offensive Lapras, but without the nice water typing to finish it off.
Right, and there's also like this isn't the broken side of it, but Cleric Glaceon's also like low key, like kind of maybe not low key, but high key, like kind of good. It does like switch into stuff like Specs Lapras and just like other special attackers like Noctowl pretty well, and it has that wish support, which is nice. Since we don't really have any other clerics in this tier.
Yeah.
Besides like Clefairy.
There was one really annoying dude on the ladder who I kept playing, who's using like a support Glaceon with like a sub punch Pikachu, and he kept beating me. And I kept losing like my mind, like, how is this thing I just came to the conclusion that, well, Cleric Glaceon must be decent.
Yeah, I think it's decent, especially now with heavy duty boots.
Yeah, and it's still
everything's decent with heavy duty boots. That's just how it be.
Do we like that?
Yeah, it's fine. It's not crazy, but like it's good. The only other thing that we didn't, well, there's only one other major thing that I would want to mention that we didn't hit, but Jad also has Hatcham and Stonejourner here. Well, no, okay, Stonejourner is worth hitting. Hatcham is like, Jad thinks it's broken because he hates Magic Bounce, but as long as you can get over Magic Bounce being a kind of stupid ability, it's fine.
I disagree. I think if you can just switch in Hatcham consistently on every Stealth Rocker, and then it's just sort of stupid, like, that shouldn't be a thing. That shouldn't be a mechanic. So I don't mind not to. At least you can get past it with our Stealth Rockers, like Stone, whatever. But you can't get past Hatcham. Like, there's nothing you can do. Like, there's no offensive rock to use Hatcham because it just comes in anyway. So that's my take on it. I guess really condensed. I guess if people are more interested in this, I can explain in more detail why I think Hatcham is a broken thing.
Another mod that could potentially be broken once, Trap Pinch is gone or banned by OU, whichever one happens first. I think Ludicolo is like pretty worth mentioning. You guys think?
Yeah, we've talked about
Maybe.
before in like it should be really broken, but it's not right now, and a lot of that is trap inch. So maybe once we get rid
Yeah.
of arena trap, it'll get to come out of the woodwork again. But right now, trap inch is like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Or maybe after trap inch goes, we'll just get a lot of heavy duty boots Shedinja, and then Ludicolo will still suck. Who knows? I still haven't seen a single Shedinja, but I. It's one of the things I like. If I was actually bothering to build alpha, I would definitely make a Shedinja team. But
Yeah, I've seen
I
Six
think
Ninja on like some stall teams, but I haven't really
I
seen
think
it outside of
Shinja
that.
is awful. I think that's just trash.
like, there's not common sand or hail. You can be immune to thing. There's no pursuit. There's just status and super effective moves on literally every Pokemon in the meta. So yeah. Okay. Two more mons to get through. We got Stonejourner. Kind of talked about it a little bit before. Hits like an absolute truck. Has like two switch-ins. Incredibly strong, but very easy to check offensively.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah, I think
it is extremely straightforward.
Yeah,
I mean
and I
the
mean,
thing with go on.
yeah, go on.
The thing
Okay.
with Stone Journal is like the CV set is ridiculous in terms of a thing that's sort of fast, like just generally like it's kind of similar to Stoutland in a way where it's like you click Stone Edge most of the time, but according to if the check exists, like if you have a Bravo, you click Heavy Slam. If there's a Mawile, you click Heat Crash. And
Right.
even in the cases where those things do exist, you can just click your stab and just be like, well, how well do you actually check this?
Mhm.
So it's quite consistent and it's quite fast as well for a break.
Yeah, and then I also like Scarf. I also like offensive rocks. I also like Sash Lead. Even was like fine a little bit. I used it because Stonejourner was one of the mons I just really wanted to use like all the things I could with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even Life Orb, Rock Polish. Pretty
Oh,
decent.
that sounds really interesting, actually.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh
I think I've
man.
seen like specs use that, but that thing's really good.
Yeah, because like, what's Ninjask and Persian gonna do it? Jesus.
Well,
Run
overall,
run water
water.
pulse Persian though.
Yeah. Okay.
And the last mon we had on our list, and certainly not least in terms of holy shit, this thing's kind of stupid, is Type Null, which just like last gen is pretty much impossible to kill, but like it's more pretty impossible to kill.
Yeah, this this gen, I think, big difference to it is that there's less things that use the momentum. The momentum's like the reason why you get momentum in the first place in this meta is so you can get more momentum. So like you click U-turn to get more U-turns off, turn to more bolts with loads of like chip damage across the board. But this meta, well, compared to previous metas, like you U-turn and then you bring in your breaker and then you do some damage and then you U-turn again to get your breaker in again, and then hopefully your cleaner wins. But in this meta, Type Null just doesn't die. It's impossible. I've completely given up in terms of things that use or things that can in terms of like
Well, you kind of like broke up for
defense.
half of that, but basically you're just saying, yeah, you can't really kill it. It also really doesn't help that we have three good fighting types, but Throw is like the best one by far and the most equipped to tech Type Null, and Storm Throw can't crit it, which is the stab it wants to
Yeah.
run.
I guess if you're running Mold Breaker, then it can, but
Nobody
um,
wants to run. I guess like if Type Null got that good
yeah,
and we weren't banning it, I could actually see Mold Breaker. Like if Type Null was an A plus good but not like broken Mon, and then like Throw was also in the meta, and I could see people happening to run Mold Breaker like to be able to win that 1v1 where you're bulking up and they're iron defensing or whatever. Um,
right,
but like for now, nobody wants to run that. And yeah, Grapple
yeah,
Locked does not do a ton to it until boosted, and Machoke isn't really run, but like in theory, is probably kind of silly.
yeah. I
You
gotta use more Machoke.
like it steals less games because confusion is less crazy, but it'll still steal games probably.
Yeah,
did use mature quite a bit, and it was really good against that I used it in. But the thing, it didn't feel broken in it because all of the things that's supposed to check fighting types still check it. So like,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter if I dynamic punch from Mashana, it's still only doing 10%. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, but Type Null pretty crazy. Did an inordinate amount of work for Skip Can to win the PU Alpha series. He did pretty much just like Type Nulled and
Yeah.
was not killable. So there's that. I don't know what could change for it really. Um, you just need to
I don't
have
know.
a
Maybe
lot
it'll
of
be like
very
dust
strong
tricky.
things and knock off and tons of pressure and hope
We need
it
rock
somehow
steals, bro.
works out.
We need rock steals.
Yeah.
We need Bastard on back, bro.
Yes, I want Bastion and Probopass. DLC, who knows if that's getting delayed because of Corona, to be honest. That's entirely
Yeah,
possible.
maybe. I mean, I doubt it, to be honest. I see DLC just being like, I just announced online. There's no physical, like, I guess, demo or whatever, but yeah, I can still see that going ahead. In
Um,
my head, at least.
yeah, I mean, I don't really see much from NU that like could drop that would like balance that like type null. Like, I don't think Frostlass would ever drop. I don't think Caphagrigus would ever drop.
No, not Kofag. They might ban it before they drop it, dude.
Yeah, Pharaoh Seed probably not gonna drop either.
No, I can't imagine.
Yeah,
And even if we get like one thing, that's just like, oh, I have to run that one thing. I mean, that's not true. Like,
yeah.
it's not impossible to beat it now. It's just annoying and very difficult. Um, so yeah, that's kind of where we stand on the really crazy things, and there's still definitely more Mons. We hit Trapinch, but not maybe Diglett. Basculin is something that I've always thought. There's BM and Masharna, which are like real good. Leafeon. Anything else I'm forgetting?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean it's been like 50 minutes. I'd hope we'd hit like most of the really stupid things. What a silly meta. I
Yeah.
like it though. Like this is a funny alpha. If this is the how like the entirety of PU goes, not too much of a fan. But for now, I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I mean, it's just stressful. Building for this meta is just sort of like a pot
Just don't do it.
yeah, yeah, it's just sort of pot draw. Like, does your team work offensively? Well, I guess it works then. And then like you just don't have any idea beforehand what works.
Mhm.
Usually in old metas, you just be like, oh yeah, this team will
Oh,
work. I can feel it.
Dusclops. That's how you beat Type Null. You
Oh
run
yeah.
Oh yes, the ever brilliant Dusclops.
Infestation Curse. Anyone?
I guess yeah, if they're not like return.
I mean, I bet Calm Mind probably wins. Like if you get up to plus
I think
six,
that's good as well.
if you get up to plus six, you'd probably beat Type Null, right? Type Null versus Dusclops. Just uninvested, but like a plus six Ice Beam. So if it's like 252 0 type null, Ice Beam does 30 to 35. So that's a 30% chance to 3 KO past the rest. But if it's like max Spadef type null, then even if you're at plus 6, Ice Beam is only doing 21 to 25 and you're just not killing it. Oh, that's actually just Dusclops. Anyway, we can do some gimmick corner. TJ, kind of putting you on the spot here. Didn't ask you to prep anything, but is there anything that you'd like to share as a
Yeah,
kind of wacky?
I was actually like thinking of this like earlier, and it's something that you actually pointed out to me, and it's eject pact throw with superpower.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, yeah, I think that thing is like pretty fun. I think also like same concept on like Ludicolo like for leaf storms is pretty cool.
Yeah, still haven't seen a lot of that. Still seems really fun. I think we're gonna forget about it at this point. Like we're just gonna forget about it until like I don't know, PU Open or PUPL or something rolls along. Someone just starts like pulling out. It's like, oh shit, I remember that. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and also Manetric with eject pack.
Hmm.
If you go for like overheat and like Trapinch is like trapping you, you actually like pivot out of that.
Yeah,
So
or you just like overheat. You get on their Clefairy and you get a free, hit off with like Banded Silvally or something. I still haven't done anything with it in PU, but I actually used it quite a bit in almost any ability with adaptability, eject pack, close combat, Terrakion. So there's that. Like in in a different meta at least, it's pretty funny for what it's worth.
yeah,
Um,
Okay.
Jad?
Yeah. Megazord, I want to take you on a journey. And so in older, quite a while ago now, do you remember a user called Nobody Beats the Bug?
No, I've never heard of them before. Please go on.
So it turns out he was quite an enlightened user in Pokemon Showdown. He knew more than any of us what was going to be broken in the SSPU meta before it even happened. And so I've been core of U-turn Ninjask, U-turn Ninjask with Silva, like a low Silvally bug, and it.
Oh, so this is the Silvally bug. So you've been bringing up a little bit. So yeah, U-turn Ninjask plus Lure Silvally bug.
Yeah, so it's got multi-attack as its main stab, U-turn for the strong U-turn, and then flamethrower and headbutt for coverage.
Zen Headbutt. With it, and this is hitting throw.
Yeah,
To be clear.
check. Yes. Psychic Fang, sorry.
Oh, Psychic Fangs. Yeah, that's got to be better. Um, that seems annoying. I gotta say, I don't know that I'd get lured by it if you U-turned into it. Like if you
Yeah,
U-turned your Silvally bug into my throw, I'd be like, oh, that's a. But
yeah, I think,
yeah, all Silvallies are good, so why not?
yeah, this is, I guess, the evidence that I based my claim that all Silvallis are broken. This is the evidence. The Silvalli bug is really good.
Mhm. There was someone talking about Dwebble a lot in the PU chat room, like Shell Smash Dwebble. I don't know if it was a bug alt or not. Maybe that's worth looking into.
Maybe,
Uh,
yeah. I was actually thinking about running that as the trilogy. I was gonna put I was gonna nickname them. The Bug Begins, The Bug, and The Bug Rises.
hmm.
There's like a trilogy of bugs on my
How
team, but I didn't have room.
there's no way we don't end up getting Crustle, right? Like
We should.
Crustle,
I don't see why not.
there's no way
I
that's
want it.
gonna stay in NU forever.
yeah. I think it'll drop. It was in like the spec meta for PU for a bit.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, NU has a lot of things that I just don't know are gonna stay. Just looking down this list, Crustle, Drampa, Dreadnought, Eldegoss, Flareon, Gorgeist, Small. The Haunter's a weird state. It's actually kind of good, but like we've always had Haunter. Um,
don't they have Lantern?
they have
'Cause,
Lantern, but like
yeah,
Lantern, I could definitely see staying in NU because like just depending on what they get, it might always be good support. But
yeah,
Galarian
I
Mr.
never like both
Mime,
of them.
yeah, Galarian Mr. Mime. What else here?
Um,
Possibly a Rotom, but like they're both pretty good too.
yeah,
Um, maybe Galarian Stunfisk, but like that kind of depends on what other rockers they get and stuff. Unpheasant as well, I could see us getting. Although Unpheasant would actually be pretty good here. 93 speed, 115 attack with Brave Bird finally.
yeah, it's like Dodrio,
And it's
but like
got big pecs, so Mawile can't intimidate it, right? That's what big pecs does. No attack drop. No, it's no defense drop. Never mind. That kind of sucks.
yeah, I think Super Luck would be better.
Yeah, you got to do super luck. Yeah,
Yeah,
but like really, the NU stuff. For now, that's most of the stuff I could see us getting. But then once RU drops more things, then more NU things will look like they could get dropped. Like I don't know, Butterfree or Cursula or whatever.
right.
Butterfree actually
We
will probably end up getting.
we could also get Jolteon if like Lantern's really like common there, and like Appleton or whatever.
Pile of swine. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
That would be interesting because, like, without flamethrower's coverage, I wonder if there's any way Manectric could stay better. Because, like, really, what is Jolteon run in this? It's got electric moves and
And like Shadow Ball.
Shadow Ball, Mud Slap, Toxic.
Or like Yawn, I guess.
It's got Weather Ball, I guess.
Does it have signal?
No, it does not have Signal.
No.
Yeah, it is Pin Missile.
Run the Gen 1 set.
Yeah. A lot of this is really just dependent on NU dropping more things, which happens when RU drops more things, because RU has a bunch of mons that also, as time goes on, they'll be like, oh, I guess, I don't know, Boltund or Cramorant or whatever is not that good.
Yeah, especially when like DLC comes out.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. That's really where my hope comes from, that a lot of these things will get balanced out.
You know where my hope is? Would you like to know where my hope is?
What?
We get defensive Slowpoke, so I can run Regenerator, Teleport Slowpoke, and just start pivoting.
What we do? You mean Slowpoke Galar?
No, just regular Slowpoke.
That doesn't get Teleport, does it?
It does.
I think it does.
What the shit? I didn't realize that. Wait, but we already do have Slowpoke. Why can't you just run that now?
Because it's unreleased.
Right. It's unreleased. Only Galarian is actually a thing. I forgot. Jesus,
Wait,
yeah.
Is Galarian? Oh, Galarian's only pure psychic.
Yeah, no, Galarian's pure psychic, and I don't believe his teleport, because that's like an old tutor thing for regular. Yeah, I'm looking through it. It does not have. It does not have teleport. It doesn't seem notable at all. It's in RU right now. We'll get it in another 2 shifts, but like no one cares. Oh yeah, there's also the things that dropped in home that are like obviously gonna show up but haven't for a while. I posted the list of them. Like they're currently in UU because they dropped it home. But
like Rapidash?
Yeah, there's Rapidash. There's what is it? Regular Raichu? No, we have regular Raichu. Hang on. I posted a list of these. I'm finding
like the trio Alola. Yeah, the trio Alola.
Yeah, Alola and Dugtrio. That's definitely one of them. Why can't I find this post? I made it.
I don't know if Persian Alola was one of them.
It is one of them. I don't know that we're actually gonna get that, but I'd love it back. And like maybe. Oh, it was just in the first. Okay, Alolan Persian, regular Weezing, regular Stunfisk, Alolan Raichu, regular Corsola, and regular Rapidash. Were like the possibly maybe we might get these.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that any of those would be like earth shattering, but some of them would definitely be nice. Especially Stunfisk. Okay, we're kind of just aimlessly wandering around. So, any last thoughts either of you want to get out? If not, we'll just head this off.
Make Slowpoke great again.
Use more Auroraville.
Use more Eject Pack. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll be back. Who knows? We're having some quarantine difficulties, but we're gonna keep covering PU as much as we can because we want to do it for you personally, you listening right now. Yes, you.